true drive behind our motivation. So we might think one thing that it's really just so that I can retire early, so I can donate money to charity once I am rich. It might be to provide for my family. It might be to feel a sense of mastery, to impress my friends, to get validation from the community and my coworkers. You see how there are all those different layers, right, on which we can sort of rest as a reason for what we do. And the truth may lie one layer deeper. So, whereas we think that it is to help our community, ask yourself, is it coming from a place where I have to prove myself? It becomes a way of proving myself that I have made it and now I can donate to charity. Even if you think you're going to be doing it anonymously, you don't need to slap your name on the hospital wing that you donated generously. But is there a sense of feeling like you've made it because you set that bar for yourself? Your part set that bar for yourself, that only when we get there, then we can feel good about ourselves. Notice the subtlety of feeling like we're on the way somewhere. We're not quite there. The goalpost keeps moving. And if you ask a bunch of people that have quote unquote made it, um, they seem to be saying a lot of the same things, those that seem to be honest and have kind of woken up to the truth and gotten off the treadmill. I think Jim Carrey famously said that he wishes everybody could make it. Everybody could become famous and filthy rich just so that they could experience for themselves that it does not, in fact, equate with happiness and satisfaction and joy, because that is still conditional. And we are, in a sense, slaves to the external circumstances that a lot of the times in our life are outside of our control. To a large extent, I want to argue, they're completely out of control. For you do not choose whether you will be successful or not. You might argue that, well, that's a matter of discipline and grit and dedication and how badly you want something. And yet you don't decide those things either. Part of that is your genetic makeup, part of that is your path and your fate in life. And this is what a lot of the spiritual path is about. It's about releasing the sense of needing to be in control, of extricating us ourselves from that illusion of being a separate self, which cannot be found. It's like thinking you are the rider of the horse, or you're in control of the vehicle of your life, and then you recognize that it is just life driving itself. It's as this magical dream bus driving itself. You don't have as much conscious volition or even autonomy as you would think you do. And on that note, this is where we recognize our shared being. For if there is no self, and this is precisely what a lot of the wisdom traditions are built upon, especially in Buddhism, there's that important step of recognizing sunyata, the inherent emptiness of everything, and the emptiness of self as well, the anatta, recognizing that what you took yourself to be as this solid body and this mind and this personality and this ego and this person inside somewhere located between our eyes that seems to be making all of the decisions is in fact empty. It's an illusion. It's a mirage. And so yourself, just as myself, is the same mirage. And we're actually the universe exploring and knowing itself through you and me. But there is not an actual you and me. It is just the dream, where you and I are the dreamers and the dream at the same time, where there is no self, no separate selves. There is just one self, if you will, exploring and knowing and playing this game of growth, expansion, and then contraction, and then all over again. There's not really a point to this. But notice how sometimes we can get caught in that, of thinking that we are on the way somewhere and we need to get somewhere. That's a separate self thinking that its fulfillment lies in external circumstance, whether that's ending up on the cover of Forbes magazine, or finding that partner, or having a family, of finding love, or finding success, finding prestige, of finding mastery and satisfaction. All of those things lie outside of ourselves and outside of our control. So we will forever be slaves to the external circumstance as long as we chase happiness, satisfaction, and peace outside. And it is upon the return back and turning the lens inwards that we begin to scratch the surface of who we really are and the true nature of our being, which is all of those things being sought. It's like the mechanism of the ego is precisely the seeking. Because we seek, we are knowing ourselves to be a separate self. For the moment that we know ourselves to be the boundless ocean of love, and which has and carries so many names, whether it's God, the absolute, universe, life, it's all the same. Its true nature, which is our true nature, is peace, satisfaction, love, beauty, available at all times. Whenever we can see through the dense fog of some of our parts that innocently believe themselves to be separate. They innocently believe to be living in this world that seems so very real, even though it is just a dream, with all of the things that seem scary, that seemed like they need to be overcome by us through the means of grit and hard work, as opposed to just allowing this free fall into nothing and noticing how we're being caught and held the moment that we trust to take the step into the abyss. And from that place, as we begin to uncover the peace and the love that is already here, it doesn't mean that we lose our motivation. It means that we shift the primary fuel for our endeavors from a lack based fuel, if you like, or perspective, to that where we are already full and we're actually spilling over. Our cup is so full that it wants to express the nature that it now knows itself to be. And we become a vessel for expression of the joy, of the beauty, of the peace that we then know ourselves to be. And everything we touch turns into that expression of the divine. We become a vessel for it. Things begin to feel effortless. The striving is gone. The motivation is completely different, and yet on the surface it might look exactly the same. There can be work, there can be grit, there can be sweat and blood if we enjoy it, but we're no longer doing it from a sense of believing it to be life or death. For we lose the ability to entertain the thought of death. We know ourselves to be eternal. We know ourselves to be the conscious creator that is simply exploring and playing and having fun when all of these ideas and possibilities that this dream world has to offer. And even as we lose ourselves deep into Maya and we forget this broader perspective of who we really are, as we forget who we really are, as we forget our being, that too is part of the play. There's nothing wrong with it. There's that expansion and contraction. Neither way is better or worse. We are just exploring what it's like to lose ourselves to that point where the fear, the contracted tension of what it feels to have forgotten ourselves so far into believing to be a separate self begins to turn us back around, and we begin the journey back home. And the journey back home would have not been as sweet if it was not for losing yourselves in this way. So you might meet people walking in this direction, you might people walking in this direction, and neither direction is better or worse than the other. It's just a trip. It's just like the analogy of climbing a mountain. As you climb the mountain yourself, but you also see people climbing back down, is one of the directions better or worse than the other? It's just different steps, different parts of the journey. And yet, in this channel, we obviously not really advocate for nobody needs to be anywhere else than where they are in their journey. But if you resonate with my message, if you have found yourself here on my channel, then very likely you're moving in this direction. You're coming back home to yourself. And so, what I speak about is giving subtle transmissions and pointers so that you can remember, so that we can awaken together collectively. For that is where we seem to be going as a society. It seems only natural that we evolve just like a child grows up through several stages of development. We have falsely fallen asleep to the fact that our spiritual development does not cease when we reach adulthood. We're not fully developed. It continues beyond, beyond, beyond. And so I hope that this resonates with you. Please drop a comment. I would love to engage with who you are and get to know the community that we are creating together. And let me know what you would like me to speak about next. And I'll see you in the next video.